When your cat suddenly acts bold, stares you down, pushes boundaries, and behaves like they run the entire house, do you actually know what that means? Yes, it can feel funny, like they just have a big attitude or think they are in charge, but behind that confidence there is something deeper that most people miss. It is one of the most emotionally loaded things your cat condoned. If you misunderstand it, which most owners do, you might push them away or miss what they are actually trying to tell you. Let's start with what this bold attitude really means. It is not attitude, it is emotional signaling. Have you ever noticed your cat doing something they know will get your attention, then holding eye contact like they are waiting for your reaction? Most people think it is about dominance, like your cat is trying to control you or be in charge, but here's what is actually happening. Cats do not think in terms of dominance over humans. Behavioral scientists have observed that what looks like attitude is actually communication through behavior. They repeat actions that create interaction. This is not rebellion, it is connection. Think about that for a second. Your cat is not trying to overpower you, they're trying to reach you, and here is where it gets more important. When you react strongly, your cat does not see correction, they see engagement. And by the way, if your cat ever stares at you before doing something bold, do not brush it off. We will get to what that really means later, and it is something most owners wish they understood sooner. They are reading you more than you realize. Have you ever felt like your cat times their behavior perfectly, like they know exactly when to act up or get your attention? Most people assume it is random or just personality, but here is what is actually happening. A 2019 study from the University of Kyoto found that cats adjust their behavior based on human emotional signals, including tone of voice and body language. This is not guessing, this is learning. Your cat is constantly mapping your reactions. Think about that for a second. Every time you respond, you are teaching your cat something about you. And here's the emotional layer most people miss. Studies on domestic cats reveal that predictable human behavior lowers stress levels in cats, which means your reactions literally shape how safe your cat feels around you. So your cat is not just expressive, they are studying your emotional patterns and building their behavior around you. They are marking you as part of their world. Have you noticed how your cat with a big attitude also rubs against you, walks across your space, or insists on being exactly where you are? Most people think it is just attention seeking, but here is what is actually happening. Cats have scent glands on their cheeks, paws, and body. When they brush against you or your belongings, they are leaving invisible chemical signals called pheromones. This is not random, this is territorial bonding. Think about that for a second. Your cat is not invading your space, they are expanding their safe world to include you. Researchers who study feline behavior call this social scent marking. And what makes this even more meaningful is this: your cat is claiming you not as property but as part of their emotional territory. You are becoming familiar, safe, and essential to them. And hey, if this makes sense to you, hit like and subscribe. It helps us reach more cat lovers who actually want to understand what their cat is really saying. This confidence comes from something ancient. Have you ever wondered why even the smallest cat can act so bold, like they have no fear? Most people think it is just personality, but here is what is actually happening in the wild. Cats survive by balancing caution with calculated confidence. Young cats learn through exploration, testing boundaries, and pushing limits in safe environments. A study from the University of Lincoln found that domestic cats retain these exploratory instincts even when they are fully cared for. Think about that for a second. That bold behavior you see is not random, it is deeply wired survival learning. And here is where it becomes emotional. When your cat shows that confidence around you, they are choosing to explore in your presence. That means they feel safe enough to take risks near you. You are not just their environment, you are part of their safety system. They do not show this side to everyone. Have you ever noticed your cat acting completely different around guests? Quieter, more distant, less expressive, but with you they are bold, playful, sometimes even a little chaotic. Most people think the cat is just moody, but here is what is actually happening. Research in animal behavior shows that cats are highly selective with vulnerability. They only express their full behavioral range with individuals they trust. Think about that for a second. Your cat is not like this with everyone. They chose you, and here is where it gets even more powerful. That big attitude is not arrogance, it is comfort. They feel safe enough with you to drop their guard and be fully themselves, unfiltered, expressive, present. That is not something they give to just anyone. This is what most owners never realize. Have you ever had your cat do something bold, then immediately look at you as if waiting? Most people ignore that moment, but here is what is actually happening. Your cat is not just acting, they are initiating interaction. Remember earlier when I said if your cat looks at you before doing something bold, do not ignore. If this is what I was talking about, that look is not random, it is intentional. Think about that for a second. They could do these things when you are not around, but they choose to do them in front of you. That means something, and here is where it becomes deeply emotional. Your cat is creating moments that force connection. They are pulling you into their world in the only way they know how. Not perfectly, not always in a way that makes sense, but intentionally. What makes this even more meaningful is this: they are choosing engagement over distance. Even if it looks like attitude on the surface, that is not defiance. That is trust expressed in a language most people never learn to see. When the attitude disappears, it means something. Now here is something most people overlook: what happens when that bold behavior suddenly stops. No more pushing boundaries, no more eye contact, no more expressive presence. At first it might feel easier, calmer, quieter, but here is what is actually happening. Behavioral studies show that a decrease in interactive behavior in cats can signal stress, discomfort, or emotional withdrawal. Think about that for a second. Attitude you once found overwhelming was connection, and when it disappears, something has changed. This is where most owners get it wrong. They think the cat has become well behaved, but often the cat has become distant. So if your cat suddenly stops engaging, pulling you into their world, or expressing themselves, do not ignore it, because sometimes silence is not peace, it is disconnection. So when your cat acts bold, pushes boundaries, and carries that big attitude, do you actually know what it means? It is not dominance, it is not stubbornness, it is not your cat trying to control you. That is your cat trying to connect with you, understand you, and feel safe enough to be fully themselves around you. That is not attitude, that is trust. And that bold moment you once thought was just personality, it was never small to them, and it should not be small to you either.